this rather snappy, won't you? I have some very heavy thinking to do before 10 o'clock.
Hey, good morning or afternoon or evening, wherever you may be and whatever you may be watching this. Welcome to another episode of Get It Right Texoma. Glad to have you here.
Yes.
I'm Mike Hendren. It's Terry McAdams, Trey Sarala, your Texoma trio, here to inform and entertain, which is what we try to do with you every week on this program. We do try to focus on news and events around Texoma, but we also throw in some regional and state and national news and events from time to time, and we talk a lot about just whatever we feel like talking about as well, but we try to give you at least a unique perspective on whatever's going on in the news of the day.
And with a focus in on the local Texoma area.
Yeah,
we do
hence
focus
the
on
name.
local, yeah.
Yeah, we do kind of hyper focus on what's happening here in Texoma. We really do, but that's part of our charm. If you want to call it that.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, well, come on.
Well, hopefully people do like us.
look,
I mean, they hopefully they
Charming
know,
as cancer.
like, and trust us.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Look, if you can't brag on yourself and talk nice about yourself, who the hell's going to do it
There
for
you
you?
go.
That's
true.
right.
I mean, come on.
That's right.
You got to pump yourself up once in a while, especially when nobody else will do it. Anyway,
Just like a pair of Nike shoes. Remember those?
the
pump
pumps.
shoes.
Yeah.
Pump it up.
Whatever happened to those? I thought it was kind of a cool concept.
Because it was a gimmick.
Yeah.
I think
Well,
it's
what was
I guess so.
I was thinking the pump you up. It was from Saturday Night.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
So, oh well.
Hans and Franz?
Hans and Franz.
I'm
that's
Hans,
it.
and he's Franz, and we're here to pump you up.
There we
Yes,
go.
that was.
Hear me now and believe me later.
Oh, back when Saturday Night Live was funny.
That was good.
Yes.
When it was fun. Oh my gosh! Before it all became bash this, bash that,
Oh well.
and comedy just kind of went "Ugh," all the way around. But I think people are starting to kind of turn
Oh,
around.
no, it's not starting. People are. It's making a comeback. It's strong.
People are fed
The economy
up with
world
it.
is strong right now. The roasts are coming back. People are like going, I'm tired of this political bullshit.
Yeah.
And they're moving forward.
Political correctness can destroy and erode a lot of things.
Absolutely.
Just suck the humor right out of everything. So anyway, that's a whole other tale. Let's move on here, shall we? The Legacy Leopards football going to have their first golf tournament July 1. July the 1st.
The one.
At the Wichita Falls Country Club. Oh, we're going to the swanky digs now,
Yeah,
are we?
yeah. You must wear your spats and your knickers and stuff like that. And one of those hats.
Yeah. Who was the Payne Stewart?
Payne Stewart,
He was
yeah.
killed in a plane crash many years ago. Payne Stewart, he would dress like that on the golf course.
Yeah.
Just what you would envision a typical maybe turn of the century,
Golfer.
20th century golfer to look like.
Yes.
That was what Payne Stewart dressed like.
So tell me what the Legacy Legacy Leopards is. Tell me a little bit
That's
about
the new
it.
high school.
Yeah, the new.
That's the new.
That's one of the new high schools.
And we're already having a golf tournament for it. Okay.
Yeah,
that's that.
They got to raise money.
Well, there's a little football team that's been getting going here that is outside of the high school. It's for younger kids. And I thought,
Oh well, they've had I think
is
the
that
young
also
kids
Leopards too?
There probably are Leopards. They have been the boys club. They've had the Leopards and the Wolverines and all that
Okay.
over the
All right.
years.
I was
Yeah, but this is the new Wichita Falls one of the Wichita Falls high schools. You have the Legacy and the Memorial.
Right, which
I
I-
haven't gotten any information on the Memorial thing, but the Legacy is the one that as you're coming in from Dallas Fort Worth area,
On 287.
on 287, you
Right.
drive right by. It's up on the hill. Beautiful school. And their football program is already getting started with fundraising, and so
Okay.
that's
Well,
what they're
they're
doing.
right
They're
on
going to have a
top of
golf
it.
tournament.
All right.
If you want more information about the golf tournament, you can email them. It's legacyleopards2024@gmail.com, or you can give them a phone call. I have no idea whose number this is,
the
but
cell.
I'm going to give it to you. 940-733-0277. 940-733-0277.
I don't know if that's Coach Johnson's phone number.
I have no idea. No clue. But we gave out somebody's phone number.
It's somebody's phone number who's organizing the thing.
All right.
All right.
I hope they gave us the right number. All I can say on that. 4th in the Falls Freedom Fest coming up. This is going to be at the Multipurpose Event Center, the Impact, coming up. What's going to be on the 4th of July?
We hope.
Yeah, I was going to say, ironically.
Well, okay, so I got this email the other day. It was a kind of a schedule, and there's actually fireworks displays and celebrations starting the weekend before.
Oh.
So Iowa Park is doing theirs the Saturday before.
Okay.
And so basically, thanks to the 4th of July falling on a Thursday.
I go back to what have I said? All federal holidays ought to be on Sundays or Saturdays or something like that.
Yeah, or a Monday or whatever. Just so you make it a reason, but it's going to be a full week full of fireworks and picnics and celebrations and whatnot.
Yeah, and I kind of understand on that the 4th of July is the 4th. It is a specific day.
Sure.
But to me, Thanksgiving, Christmas, those are arbitrary days. Nobody knows the date of the first Thanksgiving feast, and nobody knows that Jesus was born on December 25th because he wasn't.
He was born in the spring.
That's what I'm saying. So those are arbitrary days, and Halloween doesn't fall on a certain day. So to me, it should be one of those. Instead of a date, you ought to have the celebration on the weekend. Mm-hmm. And I think it would solve a lot of problems. You could have it on a Saturday, and then you could Friday, if it was a federal holiday, like a day off type thing. Friday could be your day off, so it would be 3-day weekends instead of a Monday. It'd be a Friday.
I guess that would make the bank and the federal lobbies all happy. Federal employee lobbies, and make sure they'd be
thrilled
off.
about it. Yeah,
right. Well, I mean, but you already get like Memorial Day and Labor Day and all that. They already get 3 days off. So
but
is it just me, or does the number of bank holidays, federal, just see ever increasing? We just keep adding new holidays.
There's some of that, yeah.
What was the last official holiday added, though? Was it
Juneteenth?
Was it Juneteenth's an official holiday now?
The bank was closed yesterday.
Yeah. Banks were closed. Title companies were closed.
Okay, there you go. Before that was Martin Luther King. Before that, I think.
Right. Well, Martin Luther King replaced. There was at one time you had George Washington's birthday and Lincoln's birthday in the same month, and I think Martin Luther King was born in the same month, so they combined Washington and Lincoln to President's Day and then Martin Luther King Day. Juneteenth is a pretty relatively new. I think it's in the last 2 or 3 years that it's become a federal holiday.
Well, it was just strictly a Texas holiday, Texas day, and then it became a national thing. I don't know, 5-10 years ago, something like that.
Was it post George Floyd? I don't know. Terry can look.
No, I think it was before that.
It might have been, but June, and the reason Juneteenth was more of a Texas thing was because that is when it was in Galveston when the general came in and said, "Hey, all the slaves are freed." That's when the news made it to Texas. It was June
19th, right? Yeah.
Here's
where was it?
So in this is a creation of federal holidays. This is a whole document that our federal government. Oh no, fast.org. Maybe it's not federal government funded. But anyway, 1870, when Congress passed the first federal holiday law, the federal government employed approximately 5,300 workers.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
It still doesn't say when it became a bank holiday.
No, but so 1870.
I'm just curious when Juneteenth became a bank holiday.
Juneteenth, yeah.
Yes, when June 19th became a federal bank holiday. What day?
It is. In June 2021, President Joe Biden signed legislation creating a federal holiday honoring Juneteenth. National Independence Day marks June 19th,
okay.
1965
I thought it'd been a national holiday longer than that.
I knew it was pretty recent.
Okay.
And if you didn't know, that it says here that it was the day marks the June 19th, 1865 issuance of the General Order No. 3 by Major General Gordon Granger. The order announced to the people of Texas that the Emancipation Proclamation's freeing of enslaved people in the Confederate States was in effect. Yeah. So there you go.
And that's when the celebration started.
There you go.
But it didn't become a federal holiday where the banks were closed until a few years ago.
Yeah.
Right.
Was it Joe Biden? It was in Joe Biden's term.
No,
in
2021. 2019 to 2020, introduced in the 116th Congress.
Right.
And then passed in 2005, 2006. Anyway, yeah.
So but the question was, when was the latest one? Juneteenth was the latest
one.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. All right. The 2024 Next Star Sports Awards coming up July 11th. Going to be at D.L. Egan Coliseum on the campus of Midwestern State University. You can get your tickets from KFDX TV studios. Right. You call them or you go by there, but I think there's like 9 locked doors and three guardians you have to get past to get in now.
Yeah.
Anyway, but that's where you get your tickets from is KFDX. Probably if you go to their website, You can do kfdx.com or Texoma's homepage. KFDX.com just redirects.
That'll tell you how to get to it. But it's a neat banquet. Honors a lot of local athletes and that sort of thing, regional athletes. So it's a neat thing to go see.
Yeah, good deal. So anyway, well, let's see what we got happening here news-wise today.
We've added one since that started here. So the very top. Go ahead and start with the very top.
The top, yeah.
Very top one here on the water restrictions.
Yes.
Okay. So the city of Wichita Falls, we talked to you probably a week ago, as we're in the order of recording these podcasts, about the city voting to keep water restrictions in place. But we had a couple of council members who were not present for the vote.
Correct.
And so they put it back on the agenda for the last council meeting, which just happened this past Tuesday.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're recording this program on the 20th?
Thursday the 20th. So it would have been the 18th.
Yeah, so a couple days ago they voted again, and they voted to drop the stage 1 water restrictions.
His vote was unanimous, by the way.
And so Mayor Short, previous Wichita Falls Mayor Glenn Barham, and Russell Schreiber, the Public Works Director, all made great points about why we should go ahead and do this.
I would encourage everybody to go look. We talked about this before. You can watch these city council meetings and stuff. And I would encourage you. Tim Short did a fantastic job of explaining why keeping these water restrictions was overreach.
Yeah.
Russell Schreiber did a fantastic job coming from a business perspective.
Yeah.
He made a point. Guys, you know what the city of Wichita Falls does with water, don't you? They sell it.
Yeah.
It's an enterprise fund. The tax money doesn't pay for the water. The sales of water pay for the water, water to happen.
It is a self-sustaining entity.
Correct. And
within the city government.
If you don't sell water, then you can't replace things.
Right.
So Russell Schreiber did a great job at that. Glenn Barham, who was, of course, one of our former mayors, and I believe he's in charge, or the chairman of the water board or something like that, who was making the recommendation, who originally made the recommendation to drop the water restrictions. He came and spoke in favor of it.
Yeah.
It's just one of those deals, and I don't remember who brought it up. I think it was Schreiber, but somebody made the point of, look, how can we ask a municipal court judge to levy fines in good faith on citizens for watering when we have 80%?
Right.
When we have 80% capacity.
When the city council would not, if they kept it in place, they're not even following their own guidelines.
Part of the mentality that's been at work here is a mentality of fear.
Sure.
People
Has that ever happened before? What happened last time we had a mentality of fear? And the government got in order.
You had this mentality of fear. You got people that go, oh my gosh, if we drop the water restrictions, we're going to be back to where our lakes are going to dry up again, and the whole town's going to go away. No, it's not. Stop with the panic and the fear mongering. Stop it. It's nonsense. We got our principal reservoir got down to 19% capacity in 2015, just before we had flooding rains that refilled the lakes.
And by the way, that was one time in our recorded history.
Yes. And that lake and that reservoir, Lake Arrowhead, it was impounded in 1967. So between 1967 and 2015, we had what you might describe as a dangerous situation with the lake being that low. Yeah. But guess what? To my knowledge, nobody died. Nobody died of thirst.
And also,
the town didn't go away.
Mitigation factors have been put in place since that time.
Yes, we invested in that.
Towards the end of that, yes, we had the reused water pipeline, but we didn't have the reused water pipeline the first 2 years of that drought.
No, we did not.
That was kind of the culmination of almost like a 3-year drought, I believe.
Yes.
But now we have this reused pipeline in place. It's just one of those deals. It goes back to, look, I understand as a government official, and once again, I'd really encourage you. I'm so proud of our mayor and the way he handled this and the way he spoke about it.
Yeah.
I would have loved to see an American flag waving behind him and stuff like that. But he really did. He just because you can impose restrictions on somebody doesn't mean you should.
Nope.
And I am glad to hear that our municipal court people are going, this is ridiculous. How in good faith, yes, technically you violated an ordinance. But at some point, if the ordinance doesn't make sense anymore, the ordinance doesn't make sense anymore. It's kind of hard to make people pay out of pocket for watering an extra day and then go, well, what's the justification?
Well,
we're not 100% capacity. Well, you're never going to be at 100%, or very rarely going to be at 100% capacity.
I will say this. I think government in general, and particularly on a local level, and you see this everywhere. It's not just Wichita Falls. It's all over Texas. It's all over the country. Local governments have gotten way too dependent on what I call fee income.
Oh, yes. So, that's a whole other – Mike, let's do a show on that. Seriously, that pisses me off.
Fines and fees, man.
That irks the hell out of me. When our local governments are requiring our police officers to sit around and write chicken shit tickets, requiring them to this is your job is to basically collect income for the citizens for the city of Wichita Falls, as opposed to that's not what you went to the police academy for.
Well, then it's no.
What's the spirit of being a police officer? I mean, I know you're still policing, but the spirit of being a police officer, people didn't go into law enforcement and say, "Hey, I'm going to write tickets all day to raise money for the city."
No.
Well,
to protect and to serve.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't say and write bullshit tickets.
Well, here's what without us getting too deep into that, but I just want to throw this out that just running a business. Running your business, running my business is not about focus. You try to focus on every single thing, but there's no possible way, right?
That's true.
But there are aspects of your business that may not get all that much attention, but they need some attention.
That's correct.
And you'd like to give more time to it for whatever reason. Well, the same thing is with a city, is that they need to do a certain amount of presence, if you will, with the radar guns. But my experience now, I haven't been pulled over in a while, but my experience in Wichita Falls has been that I have gotten warnings more than I have actual tickets. So I think that these police officers are doing a service to some extent to show a presence, to try to make sure that you don't speed in certain places.
No,
right?
I don't disagree with that.
But I think,
but when the city is requiring them.
Is the city doing that? And I think there's a law in the books on most states that says that a city cannot do that. Now, can they get around
they
it?
say quotas.
Sure.
They said they can't do quotas.
Right, they can't do quotas.
But we don't have a whole motorcycle division that's funded simply because they can shoot radar guns just to make people slow down. So
what are you saying? I'm not talking. Motorcycle division was funded.
I think the motorcycle division. The main reason for the motorcycle division is for traffic control.
Right.
And I'm not blaming the police officers.
Well, no, I know that.
It's not their fault.
No,
they're doing what they're told.
At the city.
I'm looking at the city management that is basically.
But
you're putting extra fines and fees in place, and like I said, we need to do
a whole show on that. Yeah, because it's not just that. There's a whole fine and fee structure, top to bottom, in local government, and there's to me there's a way too much dependence on that. Yeah. Way too much on that. Right. Brigadier General George Dietrich has left Shepherd Air Force Base. He was there 1 year. Usually go 2 years, don't they?
Yeah, they usually do. Yes, 2 years. Okay.
Who'd he make mad? Anyway, he will be.
Or he might have gotten a better job.
He maybe got a better offer.
I'm sure we'd have heard if there had been any trouble.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Usually, that's very quick and unplanned.
Probably got a gig at the Pentagon.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's going to be succeeded by Brigadier General Paul. Is it Filchik? I think is how you say that name. Filchik.
Probably, I don't know.
And he took command of the 82nd Training Wing.
Yes.
He spent time commanding the 86th Maintenance Group in Germany and the 72nd Air Base Wing at Tinker Air Force Base.
Right.
So
up in Oklahoma.
Yep. So he's not unfamiliar territory down here so much.
Yeah. So anyhow, we want to congratulate and wish the new administration in the base well. You talk about that's got to be a major job. I mean, you think about a commander of a military installation.
Well, you're in command
that has got to be a massive undertaking. You are in command of a lot of people and a lot of issues. It's just amazing.
Shepherd Air Force Base hosts the largest NJET program in the world, and it's
that's Euronator Joint Jet Pilot
training. Yeah. And this, so you've got a huge responsibility there. But you're also in command of a budget that is,
who knows?
billions of dollars it takes to run that base now.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, you got a lot of responsibility on your plate because you're basically the CEO of that base.
Yeah.
Well, he's going to Stuttgart, Germany, as the director of logistics for the U.S. Africa Command.
Oh,
Yeah. So that's pretty amazing. That's a pretty
Yeah.
cool
Oh, yeah.
job.
That's Well, it's going from a wing commander to a director. I mean, I don't know how much of a promotion is, but it's certainly an extremely important job, regardless.
Isn't the name Dietrich? Isn't that German in its origins?
Well,
Yeah,
maybe
it could be.
I think
Go
possibly.
back to the fatherland.
Actually,
I mean that he's a very nice man. I mean,
he's a good
with
guy,
All,
good
all
guy.
due respect.
Real good
So,
guy.
so Derry, when you were running a military installation, when
Yes,
you were in the
I
military,
was- yes.
when you were a 15-star general,
Yeah. No, I was a flight chief, not a flight chief. I'm sorry, an element chief for about 6 months. I wasn't
hydrogen,
Yeah.
helium, which
No,
element?
they in the structure of military or Air Force structure is that you have the flight, and then below that is
just
an
kidding,
element.
yeah.
Just so you know.
Yeah.
And then there's different an element when you're marching. You've seen people military march. Well, each line is an element.
Okay.
In that so it's just a group of people there. So it was about 6 months. But I then went to be an IT guy. So.
well. Hey, some of you may have noticed
From a
something.
chief to an it.
Some of you may have noticed something in the media recently. Kind of a new development here.
Okay.
But all of a sudden, the Ukraine-Russia war coverage has just gone.
Oh yeah.
It was not daily. It was literally hour after
Yes, it
hour
was.
after hour of constant, non-stop coverage.
And everybody had pins. I stand for Ukraine and this and that and the other.
Yes.
Yeah, all that's died. We found a new toy.
We're talking almost 850 days since the invasion started. As of the 15th of February, the U.S. has provided Ukraine with around $75 billion in military, financial, and humanitarian aid.
That's with a B, folks.
With a B. Other NATO allies and partners have provided over $100 billion, according to the UN Secretary General.
Well, hang on just a second. That sounds a little out of whack, doesn't it?
It sure does.
Considering, is Ukraine on our doorstep?
No.
Yeah. NATO, get shit together. This is ridiculous.
We have provided the single largest dollar amount of aid of any individual country.
Yeah, and you talk about socialism at its best. Why are we providing it most? Because it threatens us more? No, because you're bigger and you got more money. Oh, okay. So it's a wealth transfer.
It is.
No, hang on. If you're Germany or Poland, your ass ought to be having all kinds of want to help Ukraine because they're right on your doorstep.
Guys, we're sitting here. We are roughly $34 trillion in debt in this country. Our GDP has been eroded by inflation. The job situation right now, everything is way out of balance. Way out of balance. They talk about, we've added so many jobs. We've added a lot of part-time jobs.
Well, not just that. We've also allowed, because they've allowed illegal people to come in, and they're counting illegal aliens. And also, what we've done is recaptured some of the jobs because of the stupid government shutdowns.
Right.
So it's a bullshit number.
That's why it's all out of whack. It's all out of whack. So we have this situation where we've got all this debt, we've got all these economic figures that don't balance out, but yet somehow we're managing to write multi-billion-dollar checks to a foreign country that would not wipe their feet on your dead, rotting corpse.
Yeah. Well, look, I'm okay with helping Ukraine in the form of a loan. Even if you
don't expect it to get paid back.
No, you got to get paid back. You just go repo something. Hey, Ukraine, we're going to take Crimea.
I trust their fearless leader about as far as I could punt him. Okay,
you don't have to trust them. We can collect. We got Vinnies and Guidos out the wazoo. We can send over and collect.
Well,
Yeah, they think Russia's a pain in the ass. Yeah, seriously. Or the IRS. Get the IRS on it. They'll collect.
But we don't have an administration in place right now that's going to do
You could have
anything
just stopped right
about
there.
it. Well, that's true.
Yeah.
well, and to kind of add on to this real quick, I just was Googling the latest in Ukraine, and one of the headlines popped up that and on BBC is that say it again, conscription squads send Ukrainian men into hiding. So they're actually they've implemented the draft, or at least registration for a draft. And if you're skirting that, then they're actually hunting men down. A new law introduced in May requires every man aged between 25 and 60
Good
to log
Lord.
their details on an electronic database so they can be called up. Conscription,
25 and 60.
yeah, conscription
Hell of a
officers
ballpark, isn't it?
are on the hunt for those avoiding the register.
So here's the thing. I'm not against helping Ukraine. I've heard of some. I've done a little research on this. I've heard some compelling arguments in favor that we need to help Ukraine to some degree. We don't need to let Russia run Ukraine, overrun Ukraine.
No.
So, but here's the thing. You don't give them cash. No. You give them weapons.
Yeah.
You give them weapons. You say, here's some weapons. Now, by the way, these cost X amount of dollars. Yeah. And we'll take an IOU for now, but we will come and collect because you have oil. Ukraine has a lot of oil and petroleum and stuff like that. We'll just go take over a couple of oil fields after this whole thing is settled. But where I have a problem is sending cash. Don't send money because I don't want them paying their bills with it or certain things. No, we're going to send you bullets. We're going to send you rockets. We're going to send you stuff that you can use to fight the Russians.
Right. It's less likely they're going to go sell those arms to anybody and get the cash for them. Like,
we catch you doing it.
Yeah.
Now we're going to come over there, and now you're going to be fighting Russia and the United States. Ask Germany how that worked out.
It's so out of balance though.
Wow.
How much we are expected. It's almost like we're demanded. We're going to contribute this much. Everybody else gets to, send a smaller slice of pie to
it's the
them.
same bullshit story as the fair share.
I know.
Rich people don't pay their fair share. Let me tell you something, folks. Rich people pay a lot more in taxes than everybody else.
Oh, yeah.
They pay more than their fair share. So this is like Europe is saying, hey, you need to pay your fair share. No. What about, like I said, you're the one that's in imminent danger, not us.
Well, but to put it in perspective here, just real quick, and I've done the math on this before. If you confiscated, I'm not talking about more taxes on the wealthy. If you just confiscated every dime of the wealth of the top 100 wealthiest people in America, that's all your billionaires and a few of your millionaires. You just take it. You just confiscate every dime they've got. You could not pay off our national debt.
No.
You still could not pay it off.
So remember when
You're not going to tax your way out of this mess.
Remember when Trump questioned the purpose of NATO?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he's right. Somebody needs to question everything. I don't care if you're a Democrat. Everybody needs to question everything and the purpose of every aspect, every program in the federal government all the time. You need to justify, although we don't require it. It's actually they write it into law that basically, in many cases, that this program will continue, is guaranteed to be continued unless Congress acts.
But Terry, part of the problem is that we've got a society that is so miserably comfortable in their life. As long as the Starbucks drive-through is open, as long as the McDonald's drive-through is open.
As long as my cell phone works and I can get on Facebook.
Then nothing else in the world exists, and they don't question anything. And most of them, if you stopped 100 people randomly on the street today to ask them about NATO, I guarantee you at least 90 out of the 100, you would have to explain what NATO is because they don't know.
I would think 90 out of 100.
I do.
I don't think. I think that's way too high.
I do.
And
I think there's too many people who just have seen NATO and they kind of could they name it? Could they say what the letters mean? Maybe or maybe not. But I think more than you're saying 90% of people don't know what NATO is.
I think 90% of the people.
No, I don't agree.
They may have heard of it, and they may have but their knowledge of it is very limited. They've never done any homework on it beyond what they might have been taught.
I totally agree. I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with the knowledge is very limited. They can tell you that it's some sort of. I think more than 90% could, or more than 90% could name what it is. And I think that I think probably, it would surprise me if 50% of the people couldn't tell you at least in some sort of coalition. They might not use that word, but.
They just
between Europe and America, I don't know.
But so many of these agencies, both national and international, are able to sit out here and basically just create de facto law.
Oh, that's true. That's a huge downside.
And do things that deeply impact your future, my future, all of our futures.
Yep.
And most people are just blissfully ignorant of what's going on and why.
You want to? We're about out of time. You want to move those next ones to our next show here?
Yeah, we can do that. Okay. That's got some shelf life, I guess, about it. Anyway, we are going to wrap up here. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Get It Right Texoma. It's brought to you by the way, in part, Eddie Hills Fun Cycles, 401 North Scott, downtown Wichita Falls, MacTech Solutions, 4020 Ray Road, Suite 3B here in Wichita Falls. Oh, by the way, his website, eddiehillsfuncycles.com.
That's right.
MacTech Solutions is mactech-solutions.com. And Lolly and Pop Sweet Shop, lpsweet.com, and on Facebook, Lolly and Pop Sweet Shop.
And our Facebook page, you need to, if you haven't liked it, go do it.
Yes.
And comment and share it and everything. Look for us on YouTube, of course. If you're listening, go to YouTube and just search Get It Right Texoma, and we have getitrighttexoma.com.
And however you've discovered the links to the show, please share those links with your social media contacts as well. Please. Not just the Facebook page, but also the links to the actual YouTube page or Spotify or Apple Podcast or whatever.
And then just as important, as I said, we want to hear your feedback. We really, really do as we grow this, and because we can't do it without you. It sounds like the PBS.
Yeah. You get a free tote bag.
There you go.
And a water bottle.
But certainly we will take donations. Just let us know.
We need like 3 people back here on phones, just taking donations. That's it.
But please share it and let everybody know, let your friends know, because again, we're really excited about the people that we have listening right now. We really appreciate it and just need more.
We do, in fact. So until next time, guys, y'all take care. We'll see you down the road.